Well, we've invited Marty McCain, who is a late state college funding expert providing great information during his workshops, to be with us today. Hello, Marty.
Hi, Bobby. Appreciate you inviting me to spend some minutes with you today.
Well, we've asked him to talk about what your students should be doing with this extra time on their hands during the COVID-19 quarantine.
You know, Bobby, that's a great question. Bobby, the biggest impact that COVID-19 is going to have is on the regular admittance in the financial aid process for juniors and sophomores this year. The GPA is going to be affected as you start seeing high schools shut down for the second semester, basically, of this year. The GPA will not be a clear picture as it has been in the past for colleges to see and understand who's going to do well in college. And so there's two things happening. One, the GPA will be affected, but the second thing is those who understand that this is actually happening, you're going to have a clear advantage on college funding.
Well, Marty, that brings up another question. What form of action can students take now that they know about the GPA being compromised?
Well, first, if your student doesn't already have an SAT and SAT study program that works for them, you need to find one. And then once you have that program in place, what I have my clients do on a regular basis, especially during the summer or Christmas break, and that's what this is acting like. They have so much time on their hands, is that I want the students to spend 90 minutes in the morning and 90 minutes at night using the program to study. But the time in between clears out their brain and allows them to really have a good 3 hours a day of doing nothing but study. And the second thing that we do is we want them to take a practice test every 3 weeks. And what that does, it does two things. The first thing, every time they take that practice test, they get better at taking that test. And if they didn't do anything else for 2 or 3 months, but did 3 or 4 practice tests, it would probably bump up their score 50 to 100 points on the SAT and a good 2 or 3 points on the ACT. Now, the second thing that you got to realize is that when they take these practice tests, they start finding out their weak points and the strong points. And they start just working on weak points, they're going to accelerate their progress that much more.
Marty, now another question from what you've just told us. Why is the SAT and the ACT so important?
Okay, well, the SAT and SAT, we got to realize what those tests actually do. Those tests are not designed for your students to be able to say, oh, look at what I learned in high school. But what it tells the colleges very clearly is who's prepared for college. And so especially now with the GPA being skewed as it is, they're going to use the SAT and SAT even more so. And so they've got to understand that when the SAT and SAT is taken, everybody in the country takes the same test on the same day, which now means that the colleges know who's prepared and who's not.
So, Marty, you put together a free online webinar for our patrons. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. As you know, Bobby, I've been working with your branch for 4 years, and we have a great workshop that we've used at high schools, ISDs, libraries, and we can't do it right now. And what's happening, especially the sophomores going into juniors and juniors going into their senior year, they have information that they are not getting that's pivotal in them getting thousands of dollars. And so what we've done is we got a 32-minute webinar that you need to sit through, you need to watch. The information, I promise you, will save you thousands of dollars off of college. It's just information that you don't have, but as a parent you need.
That's awesome. Marty, thank you for taking the time to share with us your insight and your knowledge. I've enjoyed talking to you today very much.
Thanks, Bobby. Talk to you later.